I don't care that the points in the first half our defending was shambolic. I don't care that we were up against 9 men for 25 minutes and we couldn't get the winner, and that VAR disallowed a winner. This is the Chelsea I want to see. This is what I want to see from Frank Lampard's team. Never say die attitude. An attitude of a team that can do incredible things and has the capability to overturn deficits and has the crowd behind them and had Stamford Bridge rocking. This is what Lampard can create at Chelsea. We know the connections there. Tonight, I witnessed that and it was all around me, the madness and the love for that team. I don't even know where to begin. Generally, that was the most mental game of football I've ever experienced in my life. It's so difficult, I call this the rational perspective, but for the first time this season, I don't know how to be rational after a game like that. You can tell my voice has gone. Um, I've got a headache. My legs were aching from bouncing up and down and hard and lower. It was a sensational end to a game that I have to say, for a large majority of it, looked like it was going to be a pretty disastrous night, and I'd be sat here being all doom and gloom, and talking about a lot of problems, but it was absolutely sensational. 8 goals, 2 red cards, 2 penalties, a VAR goal disallowed. A lot of those things happening in a very short period of time, where most of us in the ground had no clue what was going on and you were just going along with the ride. And as much as we all love analysing football and talking about it in depth and talking about players and tactics and stats and philosophies, tonight, this is why we all love football. It's where you get swept away in it and it just becomes absolutely maddening, and you just get swept away in emotion, and it's back and forth and it's pulsating. And it's what I want to see from Frank Lampard's Chelsea. I think this was a big night for Lampard. I think in terms of connection with fans, which was already there, we always knew how strong it was, but I think a night like tonight will really help with that. And it's a memory a lot of us are going to have. I remember large goal scoring games in the past, they stick with you for a long time. But seeing Chelsea 4-1 down and come back and draw 4-4, absolutely sensational. But I will try my best, as incoherent and as maybe fuzzy as my memory might be. I have watched the game back quickly before making this, trying to go in order of things and trying to analyse it as best I can for you. So the team news: Alonso came in for Emerson. Emerson taken out. I can only assume that's because of maybe fitness, but I would have liked to have seen Emerson starting, as we saw in the game. It did cause a problem on that side. I think my biggest frustration in the first half, it was the worst 45 minutes I've seen from Chelsea this season. I know Lampard in the post-match interview said he felt that we were in the game. True, in some sense, because we basically conceded the same goal 3 times, which for a team like Chelsea is just unacceptable. Sure, their deliveries were brilliant. Promise and Ziyech put in some lovely balls and finished well, but at the same time, the fact that 3 times we allowed crosses to go into the box and then result in goals, simply not good enough. And 2 of those were set pieces. One of those was just a cross from open play. And I thought our passing wasn't good enough. It wasn't sharp enough. We weren't able to get our attacking players within the game. At first, I thought maybe there was a lack of maybe urgency in midfield, but it just seemed like our rhythm was just off. And what we did to Ajax were doing to us. They were disrupting our rhythm. And there was a really quick response. I think the first 5 minutes maybe gave you an indication of the game that was about to come, because we had 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. Completely forgot that Jorginho stepped up for a penalty and coolly put it away. Another thing that would reoccur later in the game. And it's 1-1, but we just never really got into that first half for me. And they were 3-1 up, and you're sort of thinking at half time, it couldn't have gone much worse. And I felt we needed to get in at half time to reshuffle Frank to talk to the players and then make a change, which he did. because he brought on Reece James for Marcus Alonso, who I thought had a really poor night once again. And Reece James coming in and shifting Dave out to left back, I think is a big sign for Frank Lampard to give faith to Reece James, but also I think towards Marcus Alonso, that he was taken off and Dave was shifted to left back. And the second half was much better. Really, I think, shown very early on with that Kurt Zuma run. Absolutely maddening. We've seen him do it before, but usually he sort of cuts back and lays it off to an attacking player, literally to the edge of the box. And unfortunately, his finish was awful. For the type of player he is, as a defender, you expect that as a defender's finish all day. But if he would have scored that, that would have been all the things that happened in this game in that second half. That would have been the most mental goal I think you'll see from a defender all season. But that, I think, really showed a more urgency than we had in the first half. We started getting at Ajax, but the problem was conceding that fourth. Too much space in the box. It's a great finish, but it was too much space and it caught us snapping. And we started to get into the game, creating a bit more pressure on Ajax, but it just felt like then cut it dead and you sort of thought 4-1. It's going to be very difficult. And there was a concern to me with a lot of the young players on the pitch that if this goes to 5, it could be not only an embarrassing night, but, one that scars them. So then it's down to 4-1 and you sort of thinking game over, it's going to be almost impossible to get back into this game. But Chelsea, I think the positive thing was we kept going. There was no sense from the players on the pitch that our heads went down. We kept going at Ajax, looking to get into space. I thought Reece James really offered something that just wasn't there in the first half, which is more urgency and pace and an option out wide on the right to get crosses into the box. And the goal came from the right, a nice piece of play from Willian into the box. Tammy gets ahead of his defender, knocks it towards the goal, and Dave gets there, pokes it in with his toe. Of course, there was concern over it being offside. It wasn't offside. Dave needed to get that touch, and it gives us one goal back, but still it feels like a long way. But it felt like Chelsea were at least going to put up a fight and keep fighting, but there was always that concern going the other way that Ajax had the capability to score another goal. But then we come to what I describe as the mental minute. It was probably more than that, but that period of play. Tammy gets taken out by Daley Blind, and then it comes to Callum, who crosses it into the box, and then it hits someone's hand. Everyone's calling for a penalty. The referee gives a penalty. Now, from my seat, and I'm quite close to the pitch in the Hard and Love, so it's a pretty good seat, but I had absolutely no clue what was going on at one point. He'd given it a penalty. Jorginho runs over to the spot, waiting to take the penalty, and he's, urging the crowd to get behind the team. And then he turns around, gives the second yellow to Daley Blind. So Daley Blind's off, and then there's a massive huddle of Ajax players around the ref. And you're sort of sitting there thinking, what the hell is going on here? Then you see a second yellow for Veltman. And I thought it was for dissent, but then I realised, watching the highlights back, it was for the handball. And then suddenly you're thinking it's 4-2 here. We've got a penalty. They're down to 9 men. And the complexion, the momentum, the feeling around the ground was very much the same. And I think the players knew it. I think both sets of players knew it. Jorginho, with ice in his veins, once again steps up 2 penalties on the night and slots it in. And it's game on. And I thought that you could just tell the way the Ajax players reacted to that moment, that they'd almost lost their heads. It looked like for that short period of time, it impacted them. So it's such a rare occurrence in football to see all of that happen in such a short period of time, but it did impact them. And Reece James gets a corner, urging his team forward, getting forward, trying to get the equaliser. Corner comes in, Zuma header, goes off the bar, bit of a bundle. It comes back to Reece James, who smashes it in. And everyone absolutely goes mental. It was absolutely mental in Hard and Low, and as I'm sure anywhere else in the ground. It was an incredible moment for Reece James, where really Reece James has arrived. A massive moment for him. And it was incredible how quickly that game just turned. And suddenly we're in a position with quite a bit of time, 25 minutes I think it was, to go on and win the game against 9 men. And the shame of it all was that it looked like we had done it. Another bundle in the box. It comes back to Dave and he smashes it in. It goes to VAR and it's disallowed for a handball on Tammy. Whether you think that's harsh or not, I was actually quite worried because at the other end, Ajax players were calling for a handball, and I thought, oh no, he's going to go and look for a handball there, and then our goal gets ruled out and he gives a penalty. The mental things that happen in this game, you can't say that was a irrational thought right there. But luckily that didn't happen. It was only the goal disallowed, which of course was frustrating. And we had a few chances Batshuayi had a chance, Tammy had a chance, their keeper made a few decent saves. Kepa made a brilliant save as well late on. And the game ends 4-4. And it's incredible that we've gone from a situation where we're 4-1 down. And at the end of the game, you see players flat out like Tammy on the pitch. And there's a sense of maybe disappointment among everyone. That shows you what this team done in that second half, to go from that position to go to a position where you're thinking we should have maybe won and it's maybe points dropped here. But to me, no. I don't care that the points in the first half our defending was shambolic. I don't care that we were up against 9 men for 25 minutes and we couldn't get the winner, and that VAR disallowed a winner. This is the Chelsea I want to see. This is what I want to see from Frank Lampard's team. Never say die attitude. An attitude of a team that can do incredible things and has the capability to overturn deficits and has the crowd behind them and had Stamford Bridge rocking. This is what Lampard can create at Chelsea. We know the connection's there. Tonight, I witnessed that and it was all around me, the madness and the love for that team. And this is only going to give confidence to that team. Once the dust settles, those players should be thinking we were 4-1 down against a very good Ajax side. And yes, 2 red cards changed the game, but Chelsea still had to score 3 goals to get back into that game. And that is an impressive feat against a team of Ajax quality. And it was an incredible night, one of those nights I will never forget. And one of the nights we want to see more of it down the bridge under Lampard. And yeah, it's going to be one to recover. We ain't got long to recover because we've got Palace at the weekend. But all the reasons I fell in love with Chelsea, and fell in love with football is nights like this, and I'm sure you guys feel the same. In the group, Valencia won, so there's 3 teams on 7 points. Now we go to Valencia next, which is a key game, isn't it? It's going to be a difficult test, and it feels like that feels like a straight shootout now. But it leaves us in a good position, and I think generally for the team, it's another big night for them, a landmark night, to come back in a difficult situation at home to a good team in Ajax. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I'm going to go sleep now because I think I deserve it. I think all of us deserve it, and we'll recover and go back to it at the weekend against Palace. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell and the like button. Never miss an upload. More Chelsea coming to this channel, and let's hope more amazing nights like this. Follow me on Twitter as well, @SonOfChelsea. And as always, I'll see you again.